You're listening to Tusemezane Sasa podcast that is brought to you by Zamara Foundation, a feminist organization working towards reproductive justice. This space is going to be a space where we're going to have life-changing conversations around sex and sexuality and also the struggles of women. We're going to celebrate wins, but we're also going to talk about conversations that are deemed impossible, conversations around how the rise of anti-gender, anti-feminist, anti-nonsense groups that have come together to be able to bash issues around sexual reproductive health and rights. Welcome to this space and join us in this journey of these life-changing conversations. I'm your host, Wamboy Kimani, and together with my other colleagues, I will bring you these conversations with Martha Kombe and Nancy Baraza. Welcome and keep listening and join us.
So buckle up, folks. It might be a little spicy, but we promise you a really exciting journey. Either way, it's going to be a vibe.
In this season, we are bringing you 10 powerful episodes where we'll be talking about feminist twins, feminist struggles, and the fight for sexual reproductive health and rights. In this season, we are going to unpack misinformation and disinformation while amplifying the intergenerational feminist leadership and feminist twins as well. So join us as we make the voices of African women and girls be heard through Tusemezane Sasa podcast.
Thank you and welcome to yet another episode of Tusemezane Sasa podcast, where we have conversation around sex, sexuality, gender-based violence, and all issues that are affecting women, girls, and gender diverse person. I'm your host, Wamboy Kimani, and in the next 30 minutes or 40, we're going to really discuss conversation around power, about our bodies, and also, the feminist future we want for women and girls. And I'm happy because in this episode, I'm joined by my dear friend, Madam Jerry Megui, who I love very much, and I love the work that they do. So please start by introducing yourself. Everyone knows you, but please, for the sake of the podcast.
Thank you so much, Wamboy, for having me on the Tusemezane podcast. My name is Jerry Megui. I work for Usikimie. Usikimie, of course, is a trauma-informed, survivor-centered GBV organization that works towards ending the prevalence of gender-based violence using various ways, from running safe houses, protection, right?
Yes.
Responding, as well as ensuring we support, because at the end of the day, it's all about support and making sure that we offer solidarity to the survivors. So basically that's who we are and who I am. So
yeah, and I'm so glad. And I really admire your work. We've worked together for a while now, and
Yes.
and we are so glad that we are continuing this partnership. And first, before we delve into the conversation around our bodies, our power and reimagining the future in 2025 when it comes to really survivors, I want to congratulate you first for the Mascan exhibition. It was so powerful. I was there yesterday. Could you please maybe start telling us about what it is, what's the idea behind it, and why it's important for Mascani to exist?
Maskan simply means an abode, you know, like a home.
Yes.
So Maskan, I'm going, home.
I'm going to
in
Maskan,
Arabic, it stands for home, an abode, a place of peace.
Yes.
And when we think about Maskan, we think about home. When we think about home, we think about safety.
Yes.
We think about peace.
Yes.
We think about a place where I can go release myself.
Yes.
For women, remove your bra.
Yes.
And be at peace, because me, I'm only at peace when my bra is off.
Of course.
So,
That's true.
but unfortunately, for many women, the statistics of Kenya say 1 in 3 women, right? Maskan is not safe. Maskan is no longer home.
Yes.
Home is not a place of peace.
Yeah.
Home is where we go to die.
Yeah.
Because 75% of femicide in this country happen in homes.
Yes.
And so we wanted to bring that into the forefront. We wanted to bring the pain of femicide on the forefront. We wanted to talk about what is femicide, the installation of it, the pain, the rawness of it. What do the families go through?
Yeah.
But more so, what does Usikimie go through when they answer the calls?
Yeah.
When somebody calls us in the middle of the night, when somebody calls us, who is the people?
Yeah.
How do we express to you? How do we make people to care? Because we live in a deficit of care, deficit
Yeah.
of trust. So how do we make people understand that these are not just names, these are not just headlines,
Yeah.
these are core issues,
Yeah.
issues that should make us stop what we are doing
Yeah.
and care.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we wanted to bring the rawness, the brutality of it, and show you and showcase it.
Yeah. And you did very well because I was there. And I think for me, the first thing that came into mind is that we usually talk about femicide and we have the names, and people don't know that at times, because then it happens almost every other day. Every day it's in the news. And when it's not in the news, people think that it has stopped. It hasn't stopped.
It hasn't.
And most of the times people just think about them as names. But what you were able to show yesterday, they're just not names. They are people.
And they
They are
matter.
people mothers. They were people sisters. They were human beings, and they didn't deserve to die the way they did in the hands of people who are supposed to protect them. Actually,
Exactly.
that's it. People were supposed to protect them. People were supposed to care for them, or people who are supposed to be in community with them.
Yes.
They're the ones that are ending their life. So you did an amazing job, and congratulations to
Thank you
Sikimie
so much.
and Dayo from Creative Garage putting that together. And that conversation really leads into the conversation I want us to talk about. We have policies in Kenya. People say, oh, Kenya has many GBV policy. But when you think about the lived realities, there's a disconnect, right? There's a disconnect when it comes to, prosecution, when it comes to the crime. So, but why do you think there's that? Even with the policies that we have, why is it so rampant? Femicide, gender-based violence, sexual violence. Why is it still existing, even with the laws that we have?
When you look about social, cultural, socio-economic, and then you look at the laws.
Yes.
Who are the laws meant for?
Yeah.
What do the laws really address?
Yeah.
When we look at the policies and the laws, do they even connect? There is a disconnect. The
Yes.
people who sit in think tanks and come up with policies, the people who, come up with laws.
Yeah.
They come up with laws to govern people whose lived realities they don't understand.
Yes.
Laws should not inform life. It is life that should inform laws.
Yes.
And because then these laws are governing people whose lives they don't matter. That is why you will go to court and find that a person who stole a chicken is getting many more years than the person, and without understanding their lived reality. Also, a lot of our policies and a lot of our laws are drawn from imperialism, from patriarchy, from colonial ideas.
Yes.
We haven't decolonized our laws enough. We haven't even looked at them from the aspect and the lenses of us as people. You see, laws shouldn't just govern you. Laws should also inform you. Laws should protect you. They're only supposed to make it easier. But the laws of Kenya are a burden on the people of Kenya. And all we keep on doing is adding more laws.
That's true.
Oh my God, this is it. This is what has happened. Add another law. Add another penalty. But who do these laws affect? They affect the marginalized.
Yeah.
They affect the poor.
Yeah.
They affect the vulnerable.
Yeah.
They never affect any other people.
Yes.
So these laws, that is where there's a disconnect. They don't mesh, they don't gel, and they don't even matter.
Yeah.
And then the enforcement of the law.
Yeah.
It is not every crime that fits what the law says.
That's true.
Right? We don't have alternative, methods of justice. Right?
Yeah.
Not everything deserves to be here.
Yeah.
Not every person deserves to be done ABCD.
Yeah.
There are people who deserve to be in jail. There are people who should never even have seen jail in the first place.
That's true.
Where is the room for mediation? Where is the room for alternative? Where is the room for culturally sensitive justice system? We had laws, but all we are left with are laws that came from coloniality that we are not even willing to surrender, and now even willing to make our laws trauma-informed, culturally sensitive to us. We're not willing to make our laws even survivor-centered, because sometimes, especially for us, people of gender-based violence, not every law is about jailing that person.
Yeah.
Some laws,
that's true.
Not every survivor even wants to pursue that. sense of I want to go to court. Not every survivor wants that. So sometimes it's not, some laws even harm survivors. And when you look at these laws, they are never survivor centric at all. It is
That's
not
true.
about restoring
What?
justice or even restoring something to the survivor. It is always perpetrator first. It's very adversarial.
Yeah.
It's always about you. Nobody even thinks about what happens to the survivor after the person goes to jail. Or even when they are going to continue to go to court. And I think I like the fact that yesterday during the lounge, one of the women who has gone through really the worst form of abuse, that we are in court for attempted murder, she almost died of femicide, and was talking about, am I not human? Do you see me? Is this law meant to just protect the perpetrator? Because for most survivors, that is how it looks. When you're in this side looking out, you see your person being outside, having the ability to harass you, having the ability to hound you.
Yes.
How does the law protect survivors?
That's the thing. And I like what you've brought in, that our laws and policies are not survivor-centered. They are not made through the lived realities of people who've undergone the crime. That's why we have, the survivor who was talking yesterday, and that was so powerful. She lives in fear every day. She lives in fear, and people are saying, oh, okay, it's human rights. But
Whose
the
rights?
person almost killed her.
Yes.
So she's here because she was rescued. She's here because she's able to tell her story. And every single person this man walks out freely, it means that her life is in danger. But are we going to then say, oh, when she's, God forbid, something bad happens to her, will she continue remaining as a statistics, really?
Then she becomes in the long list.
The long list
that we always say, we remember you.
We remember you. Yes. While we had time to
and
help.
a chance.
And a chance to
And
help.
then when we go to places where she needs to get support, because we did take her to witness protection, they laughed it off. They did not see the gravity. Why should they protect her? She's not. Her crime is a crime, according to them. They told her right on her face, this is your husband. He can't kill you. Meanwhile, she was in hospital for 6 months. He literally slit her throat. And has tried to do so, has even kidnapped children. He's still outside because he can afford bail.
Yeah.
But now she lives in fear, complete fear. Right?
Yeah.
So you can see lived reality. The people who are supposed to protect you, the laws that are supposed to protect you are actually working against you.
Yeah. And that also brings into the conversation around, accountability and what grassroots organizations like you and activists who are doing this work every day have been able to do to be able to protect, survivors like her. What do you think we should continue doing? Because we are realizing we're in a crossroads where the policies are not helping us. Some of the policies are even harmful to us. Look at the case you have now. She spoke yesterday. She lives in fear. She's a teacher. She has to go to school to go and be able to work so that then she can feed her children. But every single time she walks from home to school, she doesn't know if she'll ever come back home to her children, right? Every single time she goes everywhere, she lives in fear every single day because the laws that are supposed to protect her they don't. So then what do you think is the role that you're doing? I know you're doing, of course, amazing job. And we love that. What else can we do, as grassroots organization to ensure that then we continue protecting the survivors, but also continue to hold this government to account?
I think one of the ways in which we do work differently as Usikimie is we look at things from the aspect of the survivor.
Yes.
Never the perpetrator.
Yeah.
We don't even force you. We don't even persuade you. We tell you, what can we do for you now? Yeah. Sometimes somebody says, I just want food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And you give them food.
Yes.
Sometimes somebody says, I need shelter. And we look for shelter.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need somebody to listen. Because nobody's listening to me. Nobody understands my pain.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hold my hand. A lot of us are out here doing advocacy work, which is amazing. And I'm a big supporter of advocacy because advocacy does change the landscape. But advocacy alone is not going to change anything.
That's true.
you have survivors, and a lot of people are unwilling to do response because we feel like that is government work and it's not anybody else's responsibility. Why is Osikimie, going ahead and, doing response work? That's police work. I don't want to do it. But the thing is, we need to do it because while advocating for policies and trying to change the landscape is good, at the end of it all, there's somebody standing behind and needs the help that you can give now.
Yes.
Your advocacy is fantastic, but we are living in a country that nobody's listening to us anyway.
Yeah.
So we need to also shift the focus to be more about the survivor and what the survivor needs.
Yeah.
We're living in a place where there is no funding for shelters. Yet without shelters, right? Right. We are looking at laws that have been set aside, and now P3s are 1,500 bob. Now, how does that work?
How does even the survivor afford 1,500?
Yes. And we're living in a country that gender-based violence is very high. And then now you've made it more inaccessible by making sure that now the P3 is costly unless it's sexual violence. Unaona?
Yeah.
So they've cut off what were domestic violence. Kabisa?
Whew. So it means that there's a lot of work to really be done. And what you're saying, what I hear you say is that, advocacy alone cannot work. We also need to continue doing our response work.
Yes.
We need to be able to ensure that then we have shelters that exist. So, now we need to also start advocating for money to go to shelters, to do response work. And of course, we know that also response work is heavy one. Also, it's government responsibility. They're not doing it. It doesn't mean that you and I, and other person who wants to do response work, they can't do it. So I think that's where the
So
role...
that is where the advocacy bit comes in. How do we hold government accountable to ensure? And I tell the government, there are so many ways in which you may not want to run the shelters, but do you support the current shelters? Where is the responsibility of the government? It's fine. We don't have funds to support the current shelters, but you have doctors.
Yes.
Right? You have doctors who can come to the shelters and treat the survivors. You have psychologists who are in your, the government has capacity if they choose to be, but the government plays helpless. When we are playing helpless, pia wako utadu.
And then the ones that are supposed to actually have the money to help.
Yes.
Right? And I think for me, really, when you think about the work that you've done over the years and how the government has responded to it, when you think about it, there's a laxity in the political will to really end gender-based violence and femicide. Because think about it, we were happy that we have an anti-femicide task force, right? They've done the report. It's been 5 months.
They've done.
I hear, based on, Irungu Houghton yesterday in his speech, it seemed that, if I got it wrong, that the report is out. But
he said the report has been done, but it's not out.
It's not out.
So now we need to all come together.
Months, yeah. So where is the role of political will in ensuring that these issues not only get to the right person? Because then, to be honest, there've been a lot of strides. When you think about, even when you hear government talk about how gender-based violence response has evolved in Kenya, people talk about a lot of wins that have been there. With the policy, we finally got a domestic violence act that we have that really protects, women who are in domestic violence to get seek justice. There's a lot of programs that have been there for such a long time, and people talk about wins. But then we know on the ground, the gender-based violence continues every single day. And of course, now we're talking about femicide, where women are killed almost every other day in Kenya because of that. So what is the role of having an environment, political will to ensure that then these things, the policies we have in place, all these wins remain as wins and not as, not wins? Because at this point, technically, we can't say we are winning.
Yeah. I feel like there's no political goodwill for Kenyans in any sector.
Yeah.
And least of all, and when there's no political goodwill for any sector, do you know who loses? Women.
Yes, that's true.
And children.
And children, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you make a government that doesn't care? All they do is quickly, this is what is happening. Or let me quickly summon a task force.
Yeah.
And in Kenya, and even when the task force was done, I asked myself a question. In Kenya, when did task forces ever do anything?
Solve
Any problem in Kenya? Because any problem in Kenya is always solved by a task force. In the 90s, there was a task force of devil worship in high schools, right? We've seen task forces right now. And I use the one for devil worship to show you how task forces have been there for so long.
Yeah.
That's the 90s. Now we have task forces against education, task forces against femicide and gender-based violence. We have a task force.
Teenage pregnancies in 2020.
Where did those task forces, once they do their report, what happens? Is the report now made into law? What happens? And where is the goodwill for those reports to be done for anything?
Yeah.
You see, when we're talking about advocacy and its importance, now we know that for 5 months, the task force has had a report that hasn't been disseminated. Now, once it gets disseminated, you see, we need to not just think about once they do the report, but once the report is disseminated. And I promise you, as one of the people who gave 112 pages of recommendations.
Yes.
That is what we gave.
Yeah.
Ilikuwa in China hivi. 112 pages.
Yeah.
That
Plus
is
the
excluding.
petition.
No. The 112 pages were the recommendations we wrote. The proposals, how to do this, how to do this. If you go to the police, meaning all those recommendations that we wrote. Then we attached 1,000 and I think 30-something pages on top of it. Our petition was this size.
Yes.
I promise you, none of those things will be inside our reports. Because even when we were sitting there and watching the public participation, the commissioners were dozing. Some were scrolling on. Yes, my friend. Some were scrolling over their phones. That's just them. Let's assume they had other people listening.
Yes, listening. Okay, yes. Let's assume. Let's give them the benefit of doubt.
Let's just give the benefit of doubt that their commissioners might have been tired.
Yes, yeah.
But then they had other people there, also from the commission. I'm assuming people who are able to take in the data, maybe them
listening,
the
writing
ones who
notes.
are writing notes and everything. But even they came late, they came very, very late. And even when they started, they directed what they wanted to be done. He said, mnajibu maswali tatu. Hapa katikati maswali tatu. Pale. Yes.
What?
It was bad. I sat in that public participation and I was like, this is not. And then they were like, we are going to leave at exactly 1. And they came late. So the meeting started at 10. 10 to 1 ilikuwa kutusomea. Right? It was like lecturing us on how we should conduct ourselves. We shouldn't shout. I was like, this is public participation.
That's the whole point.
So they policed how people, and if they didn't like how you were talking, the people who were policing, they would shut you down. And you'd be told to sit down and they would not listen to you and the meeting wouldn't go on.
Ooh.
So there was a lot. So even as you want the dissemination of this report, what does this report cover?
Yeah. If
it doesn't cover the opinion of people.
Yeah.
If they did not listen. So again, all of this public participation in Kenya is a joke. It's a tick box exercise. It's not real.
Yeah.
Because there is a way they want it done. They don't want to read long, lengthy statements. They don't want to read. You present, yes, but did they read?
That's the thing.
Where is the place of public participation? So even as we are advocating, those are some of the things we need to be advocating for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after the dissemination, what next? What next?
What is the implementation plan?
Yes. Is there even going to be an implementation plan?
Wow. Ooh.
All we need is for the president today to declare femicide is a national crisis.
That's what we've been asking for.
We don't even need any of these other things.
Yeah.
All these other things are immaterial.
And we need it to be in the penal code.
I promise you, just that pronunciation will change. And how do I know this? Do you remember when accidents were so rampant in Kenya and it was so bad?
Yeah.
Right? Every time we'd go on holiday, we would have like 50, 60, 70 accidents.
Yeah.
The president said one word, said, I don't want to see accidents. How did that change? What happened?
Speed governor. Quickly, 80.
Things happen,
traffic,
roadblocks, and gas breathalyzers.
the breathalyzers every day.
What do you think would happen if the president said, we do not want to see femicide? The police would take domestic violence.
Of course, cases
more
very
serious.
seriously. We'll have prosecution quickly. And those prosecution, because then there is a role that prosecution plays in deterring violence. When people realizes, actually, I cannot get away with this. It means that I'll go to jail for the rest of my year for life imprisonment. Then my life is,
And there you
I
have
almost
it.
cussed.
And there you have it.
And there you have
That is
it.
all we need.
But why do you think that the president has refused? Because that is it. Look at that camera. Why has Kenyan president refused to declare femicide as a national disaster?
Because the president, I will not even say the president, I say this government, that means from the president all the way down, has no goodwill for women. And I will say it and I use an example. We have women in spaces of power being forced to dance in the public and not having the ability to say anything.
Yes.
That comes to your question about power.
Yes.
I don't think you people understand what is happening right now.
Tell us.
And what it looks like for women. When a woman who is so powerful, a woman I highly respect as Millie Mabona, is made to dance in public. We are looking at it like, but what you're not seeing is how power is being stripped away from us.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
when Millie Mabona dances in public, when Millie Mabona stood in that parliament and reclaimed power and said, I am Millie and this will not be done for me, and stood in her power.
Yes.
And now we are being shown that I can make Millie do anything in front of the public. And if you don't see that that is power over, it is very scary.
It is.
Because if a woman such as Millie cannot say no to the kind of militant power, that is abuse. We saw it, but most of us did not look at it that way.
Yeah.
We looked at it from the place, oh my God, she's dancing. No.
Yeah.
It's actually us being shown the women you think have power, I can make them dance to my tune. Who do you think you are?
So technically, the government does not care about women.
No.
So let's just be honest.
Come on, let's be honest.
be
How
honest.
long did you stay without a CS for gender?
Yeah, for a long time.
Exactly.
So technically, the government doesn't care about women.
No.
And if we
The
live in a
government
country,
doesn't care about children either.
children. So government doesn't care about women. Government doesn't care about children. The government does not even see that there's need to declare a crime that is claiming the lives of women every day as a disaster. Then it just means that we are by ourselves.
Yeah. I'm glad you realized.
The realization came too.
Yes.
So we are on our own.
Yes,
so
we
what
have
do
been-
we do by ourselves with
We
this
reclaim
tyranny? Okay. And how do
We
we do it?
organize.
How do we do it?
We organize differently.
Tell us more.
It can't be that we are organizing the same way we used to organize.
Yes.
We can't go on the street. That one is clear.
Yes. Of course, they've
And
killed us.
for women, you see, women could organize and go to the street and
Yes.
do demonstration. Now even women can't organize. It was clear on the 9th of December
Yeah.
when I was beaten in front of the Supreme Court and tear gassed
Yeah.
that we can no longer organize.
Yes.
So we look for other ways in which we can resist.
Yeah.
How do we resist power?
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be we are resisting it when we are fragmented. We have
Yeah,
to
that's-
come together,
Yes.
organize differently,
Mm-hmm.
change how we are organizing. Do the older women in the villages, do the older women in the marginalized community, do young women, do they feel how we are feeling? We are women who are feminists, who understand the intricacies of power, who understand how things work and run.
Yeah.
Does the older generation do? How do
Yeah.
we go out and reach out to other women so that we can organize? There's a way women organize that is different.
Yeah.
I stopped thinking about the street and I thought about doing an installation of femicide.
Yes.
It means I've organized differently.
Yes.
I no longer seek to organize within patriarchy,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Yeah.
no longer want to protest within what patriarchy allows me.
Yeah.
I can protest with how my feminism portends for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is how we need to organize.
Yes.
We need to change how we are thinking
Mm-hmm.
because how we are thinking, this tactic knows how to fight.
Yeah.
And if we organize within patriarchy, patriarchy fights back.
Yes.
So as feminists, as women, we need to look at how do we dismantle structures of power, because we do have the power. We are 50% of this country.
Of course. Yeah.
We can change.
Yes.
So it is how we are going to organize moving forward.
Yeah.
That is going to be different. That is going to liberate us.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And I'm with you there. And I like that you're saying that we need to be able to, really ensure that we organize differently. We are able to really be political conscious and challenge the systems that you already have. And we do have the power.
Yes.
We just need to claim it back to liberate ourselves, because if we wait to be liberated, it's not happening. We've seen it. It's not happening. We've seen that we've been left by ourselves. I think one last thing that I want us to really, talk about, there's this narrative that I keep on seeing, and I am really, every single time I hear that narrative, I'm really shaken to some extent. The narrative of that, now women have been so much liberated. We've had a lot of empowerment of women and girls and gender diverse people, such that now boys are left behind. But that's the truth. Like every single day, we are seeing mushrooming of, masculinity Mondays, and masculinity Saturdays. Like we're seeing the conversation, and the conversation has been that now men are left behind. What are your thoughts about this narrative? And tell me how either flawed it is, because I believe it's a flawed narrative first, but then the effects of this narrative.
First, I think it's funny. It's very funny to me. And the fact that people believe it is even funnier. And all you need to do is dismantle it in two ways.
Yeah.
Number one, who holds power in this country? Who holds power?
Yeah, men, of course.
Men. Right?
Yeah.
And if men hold power, how has power been taken away from them?
No, there's no way that
so men hold power.
Yes,
but somehow boys don't
have power. It's the narrative you're looking at.
Now let's look at this.
Yes,
this boy child has been left behind.
Yes,
critically.
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Now, when women started coming together to ensure girls stay in school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what were women doing? They were organizing to give girls pads. What are sanitary pads? Hygiene products.
Yeah, hygiene products.
So a sanitary pad is a hygiene product.
Yeah.
Now, do boys need sanitary pads?
No.
Do they need to be taught how to use sanitary pads?
No. They just need to understand what it is so they don't shame girls
for it.
Yes.
Good. Now, women made it their business because they wanted girls to stay in school.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in primary school, there was a song. It used to be, send your girl's child to school. Send your girl. That is in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was sung by Susan Gashokia, I think Susan Kipkosi, I think Mboya, something. They were a girl group. We used to see it on TV.
Yeah.
It was important in the 90s to send your girl child to school.
Yeah.
Now, as a result, girls were coming back home and saying, we do not have pads. So women were like, hey, let's join together. Let's give girls pads. Patriarchy always pushes back. Not an iota of power has been taken. All it has taken was girls have gone to school.
At least.
Girls are now going to school.
Because
they're not fully enrolled.
Yes.
But now girls are coming back and saying, for a couple of days, I can't go to school because I don't have pads.
Yeah.
So women are saying, I understand this challenge. Let me give you pads.
Yes.
So now, the narrative started.
Yeah.
We're empowering girls and we're leaving boys behind. How are boys left behind?
Yeah.
Nothing changed for the boys. Because you see, rights are not, I love that analogy, like rights are not pie.
Yeah.
That if I cut you a slice,
then
you miss a slice.
That's the thing.
That's it. At no point were boys left behind.
Yeah.
But because women organized how they're going to make sure girls stay in school, it became a challenge for the boys.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm asking, where in that? There's a very big disconnect. How did girls getting pads and getting educated about pads become a thing of boys being left behind?
Yeah.
And I want to remind you that anytime girls have led, during KCSE or during KCP, what do they say? Mnaona, vijana mnaona, wasichana wanawashinda. It's never us bringing the gender war.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be children growing up together, living in a world that is supposed to be equal. It should be equity, but there is no equity.
Yeah,
but we don't want to admit that there is no equity for girls.
Yeah.
We want to say that if girls get this, even boys need to get this.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
So now do we give boys parts so that now we can say it's an equal playing field?
No, we don't. And I think what you're saying, when you think about education, sorry, I about you and I'll let you finish that. When you think about education, is that also before it was for parents, let's say even who had children, boys and girls, they would only prioritize their boys.
You're saying they would, like they have changed.
Okay, they haven't changed it. Let's be there. But they would have prioritized the boys going to school than the girls, because there's that narrative that girls will grow up, get married, and go and help the other family, the other home. Yes.
And you think that has changed?
It hasn't changed.
So this is
We've
a thing.
made a little bit of strides, but not there yet.
We are not there. And
Yes.
we need to really deconstruct this narrative of boys are being left behind, because boys are not being left behind by who?
Yeah, that's true.
By who?
Yeah.
And what is the reason they're being left behind? And why aren't men organizing if they feel like the boys are being left behind? The same when women are organizing. Why is it anytime we talk about women empowerment is when we talk about boys being left behind? Who gives birth to boys? Isn't it women? Why would I want my boy child to be left behind? Because if I am injured in this leg and therefore I need a crutch to help me, but you are okay. Do we also give you a crutch so that now everybody has a crutch so that we are all equal? So exactly.
Yeah,
all we have done, and we haven't even gotten to even 10% of empowering girls, because this myth of girls are empowered is a myth.
Yeah, it is.
It's a literal myth.
Yeah.
And I say girls are probably empowered in homes that are probably middle class.
Yeah.
And we always say that the middle class in Kenya is a myth.
Yeah.
So girls being empowered is also a myth.
Yeah.
Because I work in marginalized communities.
Yeah.
I work in communities. We say most Kenyans live in less than $1 a day.
$1 a day.
So $1 a day means how many girls got pregnant last year, teenage girls?
Over 1,000. What was that statistics?
Over 300,000 girls got to school.
Yeah.
So while girls are being empowered, 300,000 girls, do you think out of the 300,000, how many do you think finished school?
Not less than 50%. And also because, even though we have the return to school policy, you remember the disconnect we're talking about?
Yes.
The policy and the practice. Even in schools, there are some girls in those schools are being chased away by the same teachers.
Yes.
And
because the teachers believe that if the girls come back to school and they were pregnant, they are going to teach the other girls bad manners. So all the other girls are going to get what?
Yes.
Pregnant.
But we do have a policy that says that you return to school for pregnant learners. So there's a huge disconnect that we are seeing.
Again.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about boy child being left behind, where are the 300,000 boys that dropped out of school every year?
Due to impregnating girls.
Not to impregnating girls, because they didn't get pregnant.
They impregnated.
Because every time we talk about girls being pregnant, they say they were impregnated by their peers.
Peers, yes.
Because that's the argument. We all know that's not true, but that's the argument. So where are the 300,000 boys who dropped out of school?
They should drop out.
Because you see, they should also drop out of school so that we can be equal. Ama, we only equal in...
Very good, pertinent questions. And I like this. And that's why I was like, I need to ask you this question because I'm tired of this narrative.
I sit in Soweto, Kayole. Those are my communities. So they stretch all the way from Tasia all the way to Kayole. So now, 17 villages. So now, I see 13-year-olds who can't afford pads following men. Sex for pads is so rampant, it's crazy. I don't see that. I don't see it. Do you know who is mostly lured by food? It's girls.
It's girls.
So already girls are already disadvantaged.
They are at a risk.
They are at a risk.
They are predisposed to all this risk, to all these vices within the community.
And then they will still be told they seduced.
Yeah.
So at 13, once the girl starts their periods, or 12, and they come from poverty, and we've all agreed that poverty is rampant in this country.
Yeah.
And this is something that is hygiene. It's something that this girl will have for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
She sleeps with a man.
To get it.
So she's defiled. She gets pregnant because poverty. And literally, we are educating women in the slums that, hey, that girl deserves to go back to school. And they tell you very clearly, I'm not wasting my money. Atapata mimba tu, so ngoje uone. And if they do, they bring them to the office and this is nikwambia atapata mimba. Those are their moms, because their mom, guess how old their mom is? 26, 27, 25. Who has a 13-year-old. And that's a very big quarter of Nairobi. So when we say girls are empowered, we are lying.
Because it's and that's why I really
they don't have agency, they don't have choice.
They don't have choice. They don't even have the voice, because having the voice means that you can be able to negotiate for safe sex. They can't negotiate for safe sex. They can't. They don't even.
Even the people they're having sex with are not their age mates.
Of course,
because their age mates doesn't have money.
Yes,
to buy them the
pads.
For me, for you, pad is 45 shillings, 70 shillings. But for that girl, it's the beginning of her life, staying in the circle of intergenerational poverty. Intergenerational trauma, intergenerational poverty. By the time she's 25, she's also a mother of a 13-year-old. It's crazy. But we don't see it. Because here, we are dancing to the tune that was patriarchy pushing back, that now the boy child is left behind.
And now we are coming up with programs to empower the boys. Yeah. And for me, and that's why for me, this narrative is so, it's so skewed in so many ways, because what it has done, and I've gone to meetings, and sitting there and having discussions around poverty and the different layers, the interconnectedness of vulnerabilities that girls from the communities we serve. Us, we work in Kwale Kilifi, and the girls in Kajiado and the girls that we have and we work with, and the different layers of vulnerabilities they have. And at times I sit in meetings, and in that meeting, someone is like, oh yeah, it's good that we are having this conversation and we want to be able to ensure that then girls stay in school. And then somebody blurts out and says, oh yeah, what about boys' child? And I'm like, people.
And they always make it feel like the boy child is disadvantaged.
Yeah.
Because now the girl has a voice. And majority of the time when you look at when people graduate class 8 and then you look at form 4.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we need to start looking at statistics. The people who cleared school in 2025, let's say it's at 500,000 boys, 500,000 girls. When we go to high school for the year, so that will be 2029. Let us look at the same statistics. How many girls finish school? How many boys finish school?
Transition.
Then out of that lot, how many of them went to campus? Then look at how many graduated from that cohort. It will clearly
give us a good
give
picture.
You the right view, and you'll be like, wow. We have a problem.
Yeah, we do have a problem.
When you look at it and you look at marginalized places, like places which don't even consider themselves Kenya, girls don't go to school.
Yeah.
We've literally watched Galaden getting married and nobody batted an eyelid. Right?
Yeah.
So we are looking at all those marginalized girls and all those marginalized community. I was talking to a girl from Pokot and she was telling me, in my village, I'm the first girl who has graduated university. And I just sat there and I said, what? I said, do men graduate? She said, yeah.
Every single day.
In fact, she was very shocked that I would ask that. When you go to Endorois, those communities, girls are not going to school. When we go to urban settlements, girls are not going to school. Girls are parentified. Nobody ever talks. And because it is expected.
Yes.
You see, the problem is the resistance of why people are saying the boy child is not empowered is because nobody looks at the parentification of girls as a consequence.
Yeah.
It's normalized. It is okay. Girls should take care of the other siblings.
Yeah.
That's where the problem starts.
Wow. Whew. That's a lot to think about. And thank you that we're able to have this conversation. And I like the fact that you bring in the parentification of children, but also hope you'll come again because we need to talk about adultification of children.
Yes.
That at 12-year-old and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, you're so grown. Oh my God. And I'm like, she's 12.
And while you're at it, while you're thinking about that, I also want you to go and read the narrative of child-headed households in Kenya.
Wow.
We have such a thing. And because
there are
I'm in
many of
GB,
them.
Yes.
Yes,
Why
there are
do we
many of
have
them.
child-headed households? And guess who does child-headed households? Guess which gender
Of
runs
course.
the child-headed households?
Of course, women, girls.
Thank you.
Girls. Wow. Thank you very much for coming. And I think I want it to be a series, and I'm holding you to account. So any viewers can see this. I want this to be a series that you and I can come and have this conversation and just chat on a chilled evening, because then there's a wealth of knowledge that you have based on the experience that you have living within the communities that you serve. And let's unbank these flawed narratives one at a time.
Okay.
Let's unbank the reason as to why we are not ending femicide because we lack political will. The reason as to why the policies that we have are not based on the lived realities on the ground. And thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for being here. Of course, I dragged you.
We didn't even get to imagining
the
20
feminist futures. We didn't even get to the imagining feminist futures, which we need. I think we need to be able to also sit and see, if we're to reimagine a feminist future for girl, what should that look like? So maybe we've really focused on the doom and gloom, but we are also saying that the doom and gloom
is not
the end.
We have to have hope.
We have to have hope. We need to organize differently. We need to strengthen our allyship. We need to ensure that then we also understand what we need to do advocacy that also falls with response work as well that you've said. So it's not doom and gloom. There is hope. We need to organize better. But also, next time we will reimagine a feminist future. Thank you very much for
Thank you
coming.
for having me.
Yes. And with that, viewers and listeners who've joined us, that is the other episode of Tusemezane Sasa. I'm your host, Wamboi Kimani, and I was joined by my friend, Jeremy of Usikimie, and I'm so glad you're here. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Tusemezane Sasa podcast that is brought to you by Zamara Foundation, a feminist organization working towards reproductive justice. This space is going to be a space where we're going to have life-changing conversations around sex and sexuality and also the struggles of women. We're going to celebrate wins, but we're also going to talk about conversations that are deemed impossible, conversations around how the rise of anti-gender, anti-feminist, anti-nonsense groups that have come together to be able to bash issues around sexual reproductive health and rights. Welcome to this space and join us in this journey of these life-changing conversations. I'm your host, Wamboi Kimani, and together with my other colleagues, I will bring you these conversations with Martha Kombe and Nancy Baraza. Welcome and keep listening and join us.
So buckle up, folks. It might be a little spicy, but we promise you a really exciting journey. Either way, it's going to be a vibe.
In this season, we are bringing you 10 powerful episodes where we'll be talking about feminist twins, feminist struggles, and the fight for sexual reproductive health and rights. In this season, we are going to unpack misinformation and disinformation while amplifying the intergenerational feminist leadership and feminist twins as well. So join us as we make the voices of African women and girls be heard through Tusemezane Sasa podcast.